Hey guys, what's up? It's Melody, and today we're going to be talking about how to get rid of to-dos. And this is a challenge, a 30-day challenge, just like the condiment challenge we just covered. And now we're segueing into paperwork. And paperwork, there's going to be 3 separate challenges. When I first started minimalism, I knew right away that one of the things that I wanted to get to personally is that I wanted to get rid of to-dos completely. A lot of times it can be you see something on a paper and you want to get the feeling of accomplishment, so you want to cross something out. And I completely get that feeling, but I would just have so much more pleasure if there was nothing to cross out whatsoever, but I was still improving, because I don't want to get rid of improvement, because improvement adds a lot of meaning to life. Connecting, resting, and improvement. Those things add a lot of meaning to life, even if you don't feel like it in the moment. Eventually it breaks up, and then if you wait things out patiently, things let up, and then that hard work does pay off. So I want to keep an eye on improvement, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't require a bunch of to-dos, because it takes a lot of paper and it takes a lot of time. It becomes a thing of guilt. So I can't just go outside and enjoy the sun. I can't just rest in my bed because there's all these things I gotta get to. But if you put your mind where you're most passionate, then the things kind of take care of itself. And also, when you funnel your energy and focus on a couple of things, you don't need to have to-dos. And I've been living without to-dos for over 30 days now. And since we've just passed tax season, this is the perfect time to take on this challenge. Before we get started, I just want to say that the weather is really beautiful today. It brings a tear to my eye because I never thought I would see the day. I was driving the other day and I came across this field with trees. It was just the most beautiful field. In Tennessee, there's plenty of places like that, and it reminds you of being like a kid, where you can just sit out in the field. And if you haven't gone exploring in your area, it doesn't even have to be the city. It can be a beautiful clearing like that. Why not find a place where you can sit or read or think about things, or even just look at the clouds? That is the whole reason of this video, is to get rid of the to-dos so that you can get to more meaningful things, or so that you can relax and be truly at rest. Today I'm wearing the organic lipstick Russian Roulette. So I just wanted to get that in because I've been trying to encourage some organic makeup options. So the first thing that you want to do, like I said, whenever it's tax season, I almost always have a to-do list, because there's so many things to get to, and the less organized you are, the more to-dos are going to become necessary. Think about that. The less organized you are, the more it's going to become necessary. I am the master procrastinator. But the more that you procrastinate, and that's usually when I have to get a to-do out, is because I procrastinated too much on a couple of things, and now they're all piling up. And when things start to pile up, my memory's going, because I can't remember the amount of things that are coming at me. So the number one tip is to get to things as soon as you see them. As soon as you see something's dirty, as soon as you see a home improvement project, just throw yourself in there with abandon and completely focus until follow through. There has to be follow through. If you are starting a bunch of things, you see a bunch of things that need work, and then you start throwing yourself at all of them, that is how you scatter your energy, and that's how you divide and conquer yourself. You're not trying to divide and conquer yourself. You're trying to be on your side. So if you're going to be on your side, then you have to get all of your focus and put it like a laser and focus it on one thing at a time. So when you see something is out of place, or you see something needs improvement, or you see a chore, you just do it, and you do it quickly. You grab your timer if that's what you need, because you think it's going to be a lot harder than it is. It never is. It's never that hard. It's just getting started. As a master procrastinator, I will let you know a secret. It's just getting started that takes a lot of work. But if you scatter yourself, you're setting yourself for failure. So luckily, I have not scattered myself most of my life. The next thing after that is to automate things. Like I was talking about taxes, you want to become organized naturally, because the more organized you are, the less work it is at the end, and the less daunting things become. But you also want to automate things as much as possible, not just bill paying, which obviously you want to automate because you don't want to be having to deal with a bunch of mail. But you also want to be automating parts of your life that you don't want to be focusing on. And for every person, that's different. If you don't like to be putting on makeup all the time, then you want to automate that. Either you want to get rid of makeup if you don't feel like it's necessary, or you want to automate the process by making it into a habit. And you don't have to think about it, and then you don't have to write it down, because everything is just flowing nicely. So automate the parts of life that you don't enjoy. And again, for every person, that's different. If you like doing makeup, you're not going to automate that. You're going to take as long as you want, because you love every second of it. So It depends on the person. Next thing is to not make extra work for yourself as much as possible. So when you're cooking, cook a lot of food at once so that you're not having to dirty so many more dishes and you're not having to be in the kitchen all the time. Don't set yourself up for failure. That's the whole reason why I'm in the green community. The biggest reason is because it's extraordinarily efficient. But if there's a way to clean your shower curtain to prolong its life a little bit, then find a way. If there's a way to clean your earplugs so that you don't have to keep going through so many, find a way. If you can cut down on the amount you use, your feminine hygiene products, everything, if you can cut down on the volume, because the more products you use, the more you're gonna have to go shopping in different areas. But if you can cut down on the volume, but also on the amount that you use, it will save you so much more time. And also, when you're doing makeup, when I do makeup, I try to do makeup with as few brushes as possible, because when you do makeup that's multi-purpose, where you can put on your lips and your cheeks and you can use your fingers, first of all, it is, for me, it's more pleasurable because it's very quick and easy and it's tactile, but also you don't have to worry about brushes. You don't have to worry about dirtying brushes. So think about that all the time. What are ways that I can make my life easier so that I'm not creating more mess? So for instance, when I use the placemat, I throw it into the dishwasher and I start it with the rest of the dishes, so I'm not having to wipe it down. These are so little and it seems so insignificant, but imagine if you began to think about that in more ways than just, imagine how many ways this kind of mindset can affect, because it doesn't affect just the outside or just the little things. It starts to affect everything when you can focus and when you can think ahead and you can plan things out so that things will be less work in the end, so you can focus on things that really matter to you. And that's the whole point of minimalism. The whole point of minimalism is to get to the parts, going out in nature and enjoying, connecting with other people, resting, getting to all the parts that add meaning and vitality and health to yourself, because the mind's health and the body's health is often very connected. And if we don't have time or if we're not focused, then all these things are starting to wilt away and everything else is getting affected, because behavior is not compartmentalized, right? It's going to affect every area of your life, every area, which makes a big difference. So these little things are not so little. The next thing that gets in the way of getting rid of to-dos for good is appointments. That's probably the biggest problem. Dentist appointments for your teeth. Obviously, if you're eating better, eating healthier, you're not having as much sugar, which I've lately been cutting back on sugar. Surprisingly, I've been carving away, but I'll talk about that later. But sugar, if you can cut down on sugar by drinking more water, a lot more water, it's going to make a really big difference. So see, dentist, doctor, there's things like psychologists. These all are affected by health, right? So everything, like I said, behavior is not compartmentalized. Everything affects everything. So if you are letting go of one area of your life, chances are you're letting go of another area of your life, and everything starts to unravel all at the same time. So you got to grab a handle on whatever you can grab a handle on. Some things are out of your control, but whatever you can manage to grab a handle, put all your focus on that one area, because one habit is the tide that starts to lift all the other habits, because you start to get momentum and you start to grab a hold of something which aids your confidence and other things like that, and then you start to grab a hold on the next habit. But if you try to grab all the habits at once and try to lift them up all at once, it's not a good idea. You gotta focus on one thing. And if you're trying to break a bad habit, for instance, if you have a lot of sugar in your diet, you don't want to just get rid of sugar. That's not a good idea. The easiest way to break a habit is to replace it with a good habit. That's the easiest way. It's not to just take out a habit that's setting yourself up for failure. You've got to replace it with a good habit. So dentist, doctor, these are all connected. Again, if you're not taking care of your health, your mind's health starts to go. If you're not exercising, getting outside of your head, giving back or connecting, things like that, making sure you get adequate rest and making sure that, you know, when things are going badly, that you're dealing with it appropriately according to what has worked in the past based on your history. So this is all connected to not having to-dos, because again, if your body's breaking down, your teeth are going and your mind's going, all of a sudden you're having a bunch of appointments. Well, hopefully you're having appointments, because if you're not having appointments, your teeth are just falling out of your face. And then after, there's beauty appointments. The more that you can do at home, the better, and the more that you can keep up with things, the better. But a lot of times it just comes down to bringing down your expectations of what you think things should be like. Like I said, we all have insecurities and we all have periods where it's a dark time and you just wait it out. I just learned just wait it out. Patience is a virtue that I never had. So that's why if you keep up with those things when the sun's down on the bad days, then eventually sun comes back up again. It's just waiting it out. When you have a notebook like this clear notebook, cat, how many times have I told you not to get on the table? This is what happens when you break the rules in society. You have a cat that breaks all the rules in your house. You know what's really funny is that my dad was an activist for religion. My sister's now an activist for veganism, so I'm saying that what you do, your kids are probably going to do, but just not in the same way as you. So here I am breaking the rules of society, being a minimalist, and Pat's walking on the table. I'm gonna have to reflect after this video. You start off the beginning of the year, you write down everything. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the year, but you gotta know where you're aiming, right? You know where you're aiming, but not all that's gonna make it to your to-do list. Then when you have your wish list and your goals in order, what's important, slowly they make its way onto your to-do list. So if I'm working on a project like, for instance, sewing, then at the beginning of the project, I might have a lot of things that I need to get to, and that's strenuous. But as soon as that gets going, the ball goes rolling, I'm only gonna focus on that one project, again, because we're focusing, right? We're focusing so we can follow through. The follow through is very important. If you're just starting a bunch of things, that's a problem. You gotta follow through. So, because you gotta go all the way to the end, because that's where all the good stuff is, right? The lesson is all the way to the end. If you just keep bouncing out before you get to the end, you're not getting to the lesson. So we're going through, sewing, whatever you're working on, and in the beginning it's a little bit strenuous, but as you start going into it, you're focusing on that passion. You don't need to write it on your to-do list. It takes care of itself. You just set a little bit of time aside for your priorities, reading, sewing, and then those things take care of itself. And that's why it's important to follow your passion and not what people tell you to be passionate about, but the things, knowing yourself well enough to know what you would enjoy doing or what would be meaningful to you. Every morning when you wake up, you have 1 or 2 or 3 things that you need to focus on. You don't need to write down 1 to 3 things. That's enough for you, easy enough for you to remember. And you might not get to it that day, but the point is to do just a little bit towards any goal. And some days are not going to be productive, and that's okay. That will just be a rest day. Because remember, there's 3 things that are important: connect, rest, improve. And depending on yourself, the order is going to be different. So for me, improvements first. It's a journey and not a destination, but at the same time, the destinations make you feel really great. So make a few destinations in there. You get down to what's valuable by getting rid of the excess and the distraction. And to me, to-dos and busy work is a distraction. So I hope that this video helped you out, because this is a great idea, guys. This is such a great idea to get down. What a better goal than to get rid of to-dos as much as possible. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time in the next minimalist and organization video. Thank you guys so much for watching.